the Classy Climb blog, coming today talking about bankruptcy. I know many people are already like, Erica, where's this show about to go? But I have to talk about it. Maybe we're like, is the United States falling? There's stores closing everywhere. I want to dissect a little bit of what's happening. I want to talk about some of the companies that are closing and kind of what you should be doing as Americans. Because a lot of people used to use bankruptcy as a get out card. They're going 2 years, they're going to start all over, buy a house. I mean, this is something I would hear on some of my phone calls. This is here from some of my credit repair friends that still do credit repair, that literally people are like, yep, I'm just going to file bankruptcy. And, in 2 years, I'm going to have another house. I'm going to have a newer car. I'm going to do all this. And this time it won't be like that. You're not just going to bounce back in this economy, and they're not going to let you play the whoops, I got over my head game. Part of what people are not understanding about bankruptcy is, prime example, people said, Grant Cardone's bankrupt. Oh my God, he's going under. He's not paying his investors. It's abnormal for investors to get paid monthly. Most investors, let me be very clear on the word, what the word and the term actually means. Investors get paid quarterly or biannually or annually. The paying every month, that comes from REITs, that come from stock market. That also comes from a sense of trying to market to unaccredited investors. Most people know investing can be risky and you have to do good math. Now, there's some people who've been complaining about some of the things I've seen online, and people are like, man, where's my 8 to 10%? And I'm like, 8 to 10% of $500 is like $10 over the year, if that. But it's your money. JG Wentworth, your money now. There's a lot of people thinking, well, because this person can't just crap out people 8%, then they must be bankrupt. Same thing with Grant Cardone. When he paused for a month, they be like, he must be bankrupt. And what people didn't understand is the velocity of money. Grant Cardone actually has now tripled the money he made the past 2 weeks, past 2 months. Why? He literally went out and, if not doubled, tripled down on the advertising. Why? Because other people who are advertising, especially Facebook, $56 billion gone off Facebook. So Facebook's like, hey, y'all, come back, come advertise. That's normal marketing cycles. Same thing this fall. You will see a smorgasbord of advertising. Prime reason why Jason Black was so upset about Oprah buying 26 billboards and he can only buy 2. He probably thought he was getting very dirt cheap prices in Louisville. I can tell you personally, billboards still aren't cheap. Billboards in the middle of nowhere still aren't cheap. Billboards on I-10 in Houston aren't cheap. Billboards of I-35 still aren't cheap. You're talking anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 a month. So billboards aren't cheap. Even though people think, oh, ain't nobody looking at billboards. This is not true. Chip and Joanna Gaines did a very strategic message all the way up 35 before you get to Waco of about 100 billboards. And what they would do is use all black background, white lettering. So it would catch your eye because it wasn't all flashy, it wasn't all full of color. It was just like, oh, what's that? And it'd be quirky little things. You're almost to Waco. Hey, stop by our store, And it worked. Because right now in the time of COVID, people can go outside, they just can't go really inside. Part of why people don't understand the velocity of money is a lot of people don't make money. Let's just be really honest. Let's have a clear, honest moment. I've had people say, well, Erica, how much money are you really making off YouTube? How much money are you really making off these trucks? And when I hear some of those comments, I know people don't know the velocity of money or math, and they don't make a lot of money. Prime example. This is something I'm sharing. It doesn't matter. Someone had complained about $1,400 or something. And people in my group were like, who's complaining about that amount? Because a lot of people, investment clubs, come into those clubs at 5 and 10 grand. I let a few people in on less, and it shows through their conversation, how they act, how they behave, that they don't really understand investing. And so we help those people accordingly. Part of why I'm having this conversation is I'm in about 8 investment groups. Most are apartment complexes where you have to bring 20 to 50K. Other ones are smaller partners, 5 to 10 people coming together, buying a fourplex somewhere in North Carolina or Tennessee. And the conversations start at 10K. They start at 20K. They start at 100K. I remember his friend talking, and the guy said, that amount, that doesn't even compute. I wouldn't even do the paperwork for that amount. And I remember hearing him say that, and I have to remember, you may see a lot of companies go under in America, and I'm going to detail why in a second, but you have to realize there's levels to America. So when you see some of the stuff you see on TV, the conversations people are having, prime example, the bread lines, and they actually showed pictures of what people waited in line for hours. Now, I'm gonna just say it like this. I'm not gonna wait in a car for 6 hours for pasta, rice, and cans of beans that equal out less than $20 that you can go get at the dollar store today. Now, some people say, well, Erica, they're starving. If you go look at the pictures of what they gave people in those bread lines, the time they spent in their car for 3 to 4 hours waiting for pasta and rice and beans, I kid you not, you guys can see this pictures on a couple different websites. They could have picked up cans and bottles, recycled them, and had enough money to buy that same food in probably an hour. There's a segment of our population that is, it's not computing. They really are in a underbelly system of America. Now, there's a video I recorded. I'm waiting for the Uganda editors to finish it up. But I talked about how I'm learning more and more in the trucking industry of drivers who literally, I'm not kidding you, are in a form of slavery. They're getting cash advances to the point that they get maybe $100 or $200 a week out of their paycheck, where they can't function if they don't get paid weekly. Now, I know you say, well, Erica, people need their money, but there are people doing Uber and Lyft. If they don't get cash that very day, every single day cash, they're out of their hotel. They're losing their car. They're losing things. This is very bad money management. Now, they got there somehow. But I can tell you right now, there's a young man we're providing housing at $600 a month. He has no car. He makes $3 grand a month, but somehow he doesn't have enough money to buy anything, to buy groceries, to buy a car, not behind on child support, not behind on any other things, just eating out every day, just getting food delivered to him every day. It's up here, okay? Now, I will say there is some companies experiencing bankruptcy. Now, prime example, you guys are thinking, Erica, you should be in your cool house. What happened? The company that's building my house is bankrupt. Found out 2 weeks ago, mortgage lender still contacting back and forth, breach of contract, all that good stuff. It only takes 4 months to build a house in Texas. KB Homes, Leonard Homes, any of those people. And the company had, over a course of a year and some change, a year and 6 months, going back and forth and not stopping on my house, starting on my house, stopping on my house, starting on my house, and did that with other people in the community. They're now in the process of multiple lawsuits because the company is actually out of Mississippi and they just wanted to cash in on all this Texas money. So they came over here to do building. Here's the problem with that. Builders go bankrupt in recessions because they overextend themselves or they get crazy on credit. Prime example, the building I'm in right now, I know the guy he's not bankrupt. Now, let me be very clear. Velocity of money. His father is a big name person in Houston, and I don't want that. I don't want that smoke, but I'll be honest. His son is over this project. Until he has one of those construction loans, until he gets this plaza and the one behind me at 75%, they will not release any more money for him to finish his buildings over here. So I look out of my window, and if you came here for the boat party, you see nothing but grass, right? There should be 16 other units over here. Can't get it done. Velocity of money. I made another video and I break it down that the recession for the rich is over. And that's a separate video. You guys will see that already pre-recorded. It'll pop up sometime this week on the channel. And the reason I did that is certain sectors, they over it. It's been 6 months. That's why you hear a lot of Americans when people say, oh, I have no money. I don't know my job. They're like, it's been 6 months. Change. Do something different. because they don't understand that these people beneath them are on a different level. They're in a survival mode. So even if we give them $1,000 a week, that money will just. And people are like, don't judge people, Erica. Don't you judge them on how they spend their $1,000. True. I won't. But when winter comes, as they say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming. It's going to be very ugly for some people. There are going to be people 2 families deep up at grandma's house. There are going to be people with their wife, them, and their kid in 1 bedroom at their grandmother's house. Doesn't have to be that way. Now, prime example, okay? There is, right now, we talk about California being broke. This isn't a joke. I'm really serious. California is bankrupt, officially on paper. Now, what does bankrupt mean? I showed you the Grant Cardone example. He was able to just market his way out of it. He was able to just crank up more good news. And I won't make fun of other people because no one in my side of business or my level of business, we're all learning, right? We all make mistakes. We're all learning. But there are several people who are, and I can't say it, but they're bankrupt. And right now what they're doing is marketing out of it. They're puking marketing. Like every day you go on Instagram, they're puking marketing. You go on YouTube, they're puking marketing because the math is if they can bring in 200 or 1,000 people new to their channels, new to their products and services, they'll make it. The velocity of money issue. California is a bankrupt issue because for decades, they have scheduled out benefits and services that can never really be serviced. They don't have the money. Now, here's something I was going to kind of break it down. Okay? And if you ever hear the saying, a drowning man will drown you too, that's the kind of thing. I have to wait till they get really tired. Now, California Pizza Kitchen. I know you're like, oh, that's not California, but it is. It's California Pizza Kitchen. The only reason the business is surviving, and they made it very clear to their investors, Business Insider and also CNBC, is that the pizza that sells in the grocery stores is holding up the business. This is why companies diverse. They have different streams of income because if it wasn't for the grocery sales, they're telling you this whole operation would be done. Okay? Another one, Sur La Table. Sur La Table, I'm saying it a little funny, but Sur La Table is a high-end kitchenette, Martha Stewart type, HGTV watching, beautiful cookware channel type store. It's aimed at upper income folks. You're not going in there paying $100 for pans. You just ain't trying to do it. You'll get 1 or 2 pans, but you don't really buy a lot when you go in there if you don't have the money. Now, why am I bringing up Sur La Table? 60% of our spending came from the top 40% in America. Several videos back, you can see where I documented this and showed you the articles about it. When they did, and all they did was 11% pullback. The top 40% did 11% pullback. The bottom people, the bottom 30% are still spending as regular, right? With the help of what? Stimulus, okay? When the top 40% pulled back 11%, several of the companies I'm going to name are closing because that's how big the money is when you talk about someone who makes over 100,000 a month, 100,000 a year, or someone who makes over 150,000 a year, someone who makes over 250,000 a year. Their discretionary income is always going to be bigger and more important than Big Booty Betty who has 30K a year and can spend an extra 1,000 a month. Sarah in the suburbs who can spend 5 to 10 grand with the help of credit cards sometimes is who you will always be targeting. Upper class, Stone Mountain, Georgia, Glendon, Cameron type home area. Those people, those are the people remodelers been targeting because remodeling has been through the roof. Progressive Leasing is a company. And there's a couple other remodeling company lenders, which if you're in the Middleman to Millions course, we'll have that conversation probably next week. I'll have those videos, 3 more videos up where how do you get these bigger projects? Because customers fill out a little application and now they can afford the bigger project. Now you're not stressing your customer for the 20K for the deck. You already get paid directly from Progressive Leasing. But that's a conversation for the Middleman to Millions course. So Sur La Table closed, but also Bravo and They didn't close, they filed for bankruptcy protection. Bravo, Fresh Italiana, and Brio, which is BRO, they're both under the same umbrella of a particular company. They filed for bankruptcy protection. They are upper middle class restaurants. Why am I bringing this up? Because the companies that took the first hit were the higher upper end companies. Again, Neiman Marcus, True Religion Jeans, very expensive jeans. Pier 1, it's a Texas-based company. It had to take a hit. Earth Fare organic grocery stores. Over 50 grocery stores will be at some point this year closing all of their stores. They are an organic base that already tells you they're a little bit higher in their costs. Now, what are people in the organic space doing? If you have an organic based store, it only needs to be in the most high-end area, period. Out here, prime example, Arboretum in Austin. If I go to Sprouts, there will be people with stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks of groceries. You ever go to the grocery store and you see somebody with a full cart and you're like, I bet they on the EBT. They on the EBT. That's why they cart full. No. When I'm in Sprouts, which is very high end, when I'm in over there, Whole Foods, I see people with carts, stacks on stacks on stacks. So I'm sitting there like, okay, somebody about to spend $700, but not always 700, closer to 300, 400, 450. And I'll see that and I'll go, holy crap, they're really dropping some money here, right? That's what Earth Fare is. It's in the range of those type of companies. Prime example, Kroger's. Kroger's bought Lucky's. Lucky's is also an organic place. And when they started rising through the ranks, Kroger bought them. Lucky's is now filing for bankruptcy, and Kroger is divesting its interest from them. Sounds crazy, I know, but it's just like if Walmart's here and it has divisions of its company that own other companies, that little division can file bankruptcy. Even though Walmart got the money to save it, whoops, that one's bankrupt. Sorry, we're out of here. It happens. Again, J. Crew, Neiman Marcus, True Religion. Now, here's one that, not making fun of it, but when Bravo and Brio Capital and Brio Restaurant was like closed, they said 71 out of their 92 restaurants temporarily closed. When I was here in Austin, they closed for 2 weeks and opened right back up. It is a prime location for the soccer moms, even the Asian mom community. They go at a certain time of day and they're all in there, right? Chuck E. Cheese, back down to, lower level income. Chuck E. Cheese filed for bankruptcy. Why would people take their kids to a germ-infested place where the kids are going to touch all these germy balls? Again, Chuck E. Cheese was already a germ fest before this. But now you're a mom and you care about germs a little bit more. You're not going to Chuck E. Cheese. JCPenney, you already know about that. Prime example of one that people act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Noah's event venue. It's a national multi-location event venue franchise. They are closing all stores, all venues, which is leaving thousands of engaged couples without a wedding venue. I know no one's getting married, but it just happens. Thousands of people are suing Noah's events because they have no wedding venues. So you guys don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, consulting. There's a nice shiny term people like to use. I'm a consultant, Erica. Yeah, I'm a consultant. I can just consult you on that. I can just give you a consulting. This is a problem. You have to, there's people that are doing consulting, actual clients, actual invoices, actual procurement of success. Now, what do I mean? If someone is consulting you, you should see a up or down in your business, or a lateral change, or they come to save it. A lot of people are using the term consultant and then talking about on YouTube that they're filing for unemployment. You're telling me you're a consultant to people's businesses and you're filing for unemployment. Make it make sense. Now, you may say, well, Erica, they have a velocity of money problem. They need that. Listen to me. If you're a consultant of people's businesses, and I'm not knocking the two YouTube channels you may think of, but those two young men, I'm serious. They're consultants who filed for unemployment and talked about how easy it was as a self-employed person to file for unemployment. That means you were stunting for YouTube and the numbers you are inflating are not accurate. You wouldn't even be thinking about filing for $300 a week unemployment if you were doing 10 to 20K a month. There are months that I do high six. There are months I do high numbers. And even in those months, if money is mismanaged, things can be tight. But tight for someone for them who are claiming they're six-figure consultants versus someone who makes a paycheck every week is absolutely different kind of ballgame. But I'll leave that little piece alone. Okay. Lord and Taylor is already filed for unemployment. Okay. Now, this guy was saying United States just needs a kick in the pants. It just needs a little jolt. They've been printing money at the Fed nonstop. We should all feel rich. But you know why we're not? It's called the velocity of money. Again, the trickle down effect, the moving money around effect. Right now, Canada is doing a dangerous game of we don't need America's money. Canada has extended to September 21st. Americans cannot come for their tourism. Canada, the almost $1 billion Canada makes off the United States going into Canada. Canada is saying we don't need your money. We're going to risk our country going into recession just to prove a point that we will not accept Americans. Mexico, on the other hand, flights to Cabo, flights to Tulum, flights to Cancun, flights to multiple places have gone through the roof. The money that Canada is choosing stubbornly in an effort to make a point is going to Mexico. United States citizens will travel. It does not matter. There are several blogs right now where travelers are posting how they got into other countries in Europe. They're posting it. Hey, I just flew over to this country and drove around. Or I just got in this country and got on the train. I just got in this country and went around. Again, America's going to get where they want to go. All right. Now, there's 287 people here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I know I've been going for 22 minutes, but I just had to bring this up because a lot of times people will try to tell me something and I know it ain't right. I know it ain't telling the truth. Now look, when something is bankrupt and people say, well, the United States isn't bankrupt, Erica. Bankrupt means, again, just to reinforce for you guys, when you make obligations for years. Again, when people talk about child support, they love talking about child support. You know, for the next 18 years, I got to pay her $200 every month, $200. Okay, again, this is the level of conversation. When you go on Facebook and someone's crying about $200 child support, they are in poverty. They're 1 foot into homelessness. Okay? Same thing when you see some of the conversations people are having where they're like, my kids have to go back to school so I can go back to work. Again, you have to see the levels of what was being said out here. You have to see what's being said out here, okay? There are two other ones I want to talk on, but I'm gonna let it slide. Okay. Now I'm gonna go through some of these comments you guys have. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. It's a hobby for the $30 super chat. Thank you for spreading the knowledge. And I want to take this time to thank our sponsors, mindsetmatterstees.com. Great shirts. We'll have a commercial that I'll be able to slip in here pretty soon after they finish editing it. Also, we'd like to thank Annette's Worth for sponsoring the 2020 boat party and the YouTube channel. Definitely check out her stock trading course. It's $100, but this weekend she had a nice 20% off. Check the links below in the description at some point here. And also, make sure you go check out blackseedsummit.com. They're getting ready to release the video so you guys can see the replay of the summit that just happened a week ago. It was a great time. I think you all will enjoy it. And one more, thank you Zion Beard Care for sponsoring the channel. Y'all need that beard moisturized, you need vitamins. Help your brother or your special significant other out and get him some of those vitamins from Zion Beard Care. What's up, New Jersey, Dallas, Texas? What's up, fellow 20%ers? West Palm Beach, Florida, Toledo, Ohio, Dubai. Hello, Dubai. Savannah. If you don't know who Grant Cardone is, take a minute in your day to Google who Grant Cardone is. Help yourself out. What Up AM1, one of the best video photographers out here. Well, video photographers out there. Thank you, Will Cromer. Well, thank you, Jacqueline, for helping. I appreciate that. Exactly. Picking up your cans and bottles is work. Yep. Wife, girlfriend, side babe. I mean, it be catching people. Google account. Here's the thing. A lot of them, again, this is a mindset thing. You can go in many lower economic communities and the rent, I'm even talking about Fayetteville, North Carolina, I'm talking about Durham, I'm talking about Charlotte. You will have a house that they are renting for $800 and it'll be three people up in there. So the rent they split into each other is only $200, $200, $300 most at most, and will still be in horrible economic conditions because of mindset. There's a whole conversation we need to have about the certain amount of income people need to be making in a mindset. I will say, just for my family, particularly in the 80s when farming went bust, grandma was like, everybody go now. And remember being a little kid and everybody was either in school or being a cop or being military. Like it was an emergency. And if it wasn't for that community push of all 6 aunts and uncles, like pushing at one time, I don't know where our family would be. I've seen other families suffer from the 80s in that region, and it's really sad. There is so much you can do when you say saving money by living with multiple people in a house. If your mindset's not right, you can live in a house for 2, 3, 4 years and still be in the same economic conditions. This is part of why I keep talking about mindset. Lee, good job you did it. This is true. Okay, dad jokes. Thank you so much, Kristen Williams. Hello, another fellow Williams. See, but again, okay, again. Here, let's be very clear. If you're a consultant and your mindset is, my business made this money, but I'm going to personally go file unemployment, your mindset is faulty. You're still in a greed is good, free money is good. Like, let me get this free money. That's not a accelerated growth mindset. That's a scarcity mindset. Scarcity and accelerated growth don't work hand in hand. It either means, one, your consulting business is really not doing that well, or two, you're still here. You're still here in the scarcity mindset, and you may have got lucky and got 1 or 2 clients, but you really aren't consistently booking clients. I mean, and when I mean consistent, I mean like every day a part of your daily company is booking clients and facilitating payments and facilitating how consistently your company closes for customers. Those two things don't go together. And I know there's a lot of people who are out here advertising for people to go, hey, I'm gonna help you get some of this government money, and you don't even have a business. That is a recipe for jail. And this unemployment like thing where people think they're slick, that those mindsets don't go together. You're not a multimillionaire going, let me get that 3 mil, let me get that $300 a week, I'm so excited. Like, there's something in there. No. And I know people are gonna say, but there's people who are really budget friendly. There's people that are cheapskates. No, sorry, no. I literally, as soon as this thing started happening, was in multiple conversations, and all we could talk about is, okay, this is how we do the marketing, this is how we switch our business, this is how we do this is how we get ready for fourth quarter. Those two things don't go together. That's like me saying, let me go get a baby so I can get some child support. Yeah, that'd be a good way to get some income in. No, that's dumb. That's dumb. True. Congratulations. Brick and mortar is not dead. I know people want to think brick and mortar is dead. There are just certain businesses. Grocery stores are not dead. Brick and mortar grocery stores aren't dead. Brick and mortar, a lot of things aren't dead. They are just not in the right locations. We'll have economic moats under certain areas where money is. The domains, for example, of Austin and the future domain they're going to put out in Flickerville, they're going to be in pockets of money, right next to the money. They're going to be in this moat. Again, prime example, if you're in the Galleria of Houston, everything over there is everything in those little space over there makes its money, right? Bel Air in Houston, right? Go out to Katy, Texas, where the H market is. There's over 35 different Asian-owned businesses in a weird triangle-shaped plaza and 2 other plazas to the left, which I'm putting in a video. You should see some of those videos I'll put together, because that's an economic moat. When I drove by there, the parking lot was so full they were spilling over to another parking lot. And it was all just Asian restaurants and people, Americans of all shapes and sizes and colors, going over here to these restaurant owners' businesses and spending money. That's the velocity of money. All those Asian business owners in Katy, Texas are having a great weekend. A great weekend. Brick and mortar works where it's near money, or when it's in very small towns. Now, why do I mean very small towns? If you have a town of 20 to 100,000 people, you can have a brick and mortar, because your brick and mortar, you're paying $300. My old office location in North Carolina, that was probably 1,500 square feet, was $300 a month. $300 a month, that was it. So when I hear people say, well, I just can't afford a location, I'm just keep braiding hair out of my house, I go, something's wrong with your money management. The locations I used to be at North Carolina, like 300, 500, 800, 1,000. 4 girls in there braiding in a giant space, they're paying what, $250 a month each girl? So some of this is math. Some people are having a math problem. Very true. Very true. This is true. Okay. B-Bin. Sorry for your situation, but this is sad. Thank you for the 327 people here. Make sure y'all are hitting that like button. I am in a lot of debt from using a lot of cards to start a business with now ex-husband. We got divorced this year. Not sure if I should file for bankruptcy or try to wait the 4 years out. I will tell you, this is literally the level of a consult question, because there's probably 4 or 5 different things here I got to ask you to even make this make sense. I'm gonna tell you right now, bankruptcy for somebody making $3 grand a month is different than someone who's making 10 to 12 grand a month and filing for bankruptcy. 2 different levels, 2 different velocities of money. I'm not certain of your situation. That's a hard one. Monique Green, you can get out of this in the next 60 days. I'm gonna just tell you right now. Monique Green said, currently living in a car, just got a job at a marketing company, door-to-door telecommunication sales, rebuilding mindset now. So Monique Green, the number one thing I would tell you is script your day. Script your day, listen to audiobooks or audible.com, put some mindset books in there, and literally write it out on a sheet of paper what you're making daily or how many doors you're knocking daily. My friend Andrew Bryant, Mr. 10,000 Doors, would knock, he knocked 10,000 doors in 1 year, but it became, I think it was over 2 years. but it's a numbers game. It's all a numbers game. So find a apartment right now you can, or find an RV. You can literally go on Facebook Marketplace all day and find rentals for cheap, but that are safe enough for you to stay, and do the math on how much you'll need for that deposit and to get in there. So Tyler Bennett, no. The average American only goes 8 miles from their house in a circular range. 8 miles. That's it. On average. Even if you add in their work, like on average, they only do 8 miles. So if you're in Katy, Texas, and you're near that triangle where those Asian businesses are, you and your wife are going to go grocery store, these restaurants, and try different restaurants because they're different, each one of them. And it's small circle. You're not really going to go 10, 20, 30, 40 miles out, right? Whenever I go to Houston, I only stay in the Galleria because I only want to be in that economic mode, around those type of people, around those type of restaurants, around that type of vibe. Or I only want to stay in Bear Lair because there's only, I'm just not going to put myself in anywhere outside of that. Now, when I'm in other parts of Houston, I'll invest there. I'll build rentals in the 5th and 3rd ward if allowed, but I wouldn't live there. It's a mindset and an environment thing. So yes, there are economic modes. They're not necessarily shrinking, they're being redesigned. Master communities all over Georgetown, like anything within this circular. Prime example, there's a thing called Crack of Dawn Donuts, and they actually do breakfast, they do chicken and waffles. They drive into this neighborhood in Georgetown and park the truck at the community center where the pool, they have just 2 Olympic sized pools, and the playground is every Saturday. And they literally, after they make their money just off parking that truck there. If they didn't, they wouldn't keep doing it on every Saturday. There and one other neighborhood that's back in the Domain area. That's where they park their truck at. Those 2 places consistently. Those 2 economic modes, period. Ray Gunn, why is California forcing out business and making it difficult for business owners like Uber if they're bankrupt? Because California is on a policy, it's on a what we would call a principle, right? For principle, we've been doing this direction for 30, 40 years. When Arnold Schwarzenegger came in, and off the strength of being Arnold Schwarzenegger Republican, he literally said, here's this vote. You have to vote this to make California solvent. And Californians still voted against it. Because there will be no time in America where a man or woman, but men, humanity, votes for them not to get free stuff. Period. Even now, when I hear California people talking, they're here in Texas, y'all need to have more services out here. I go, services? Yeah. The buses need to come to your house. This need to come pick you up. This need to do this. My child has special needs. They need to do that. I mean, I'll hear stuff and I'll go, this is why you're leaving the area you are, because you want someone else to pay for your lifestyle. Again, let me say, you want someone else to pay for your lifestyle, or you want someone to subsidize, which I'm okay subsidizing the elderly. No one has a problem with that. People who can't work, disabled, no one has a problem with that. And special needs children, those are the only people in our society that need to be subsidized because they cannot take care of themselves. California is like, let's subsidize everybody. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It has the highest homeless in the whole United States. There's tent cities for miles. There are national parks that are starting to be filled up with homeless people. It doesn't work. The thought process doesn't work. The principle doesn't work. You cannot let people vote to keep giving themselves free stuff. It doesn't work. California will at some point be absolved, right? Because Detroit asked for a bailout. At some point, we will see California ask for a bailout. And at that point, we will be way far down the hill. And this is true. Outdoor dining in Texas right now is crazy. Outdoor dining in North Carolina, South Carolina is crazy. Even though it's hot, they're redesigning decks right now. Congrats, Lizzie Hatch. This will be a mini crisis because you'll go back to the 50% occupancy, but for some restaurants that are really small, will that work, right? And I don't know Lightfoot's what stage you're on. Like right now, our mayor of Austin, who's a dummy, pure dummy, is like, we're going to be on stay-at-home orders till December 15th. What does that mean in Austin, Texas, where we're on stage 4? It's a complete contradiction of itself. We're on stage 4, which means restaurants are at 50%. Everywhere, the movie theaters back open here in Texas and in Austin. All these, like Alamo Draft House is opening back up in a few weeks. Like all these things are open. And he's like, stay home orders. Yeah. Which really just means I'm going to put, literally, he put cones around our national park, our city parks, so you can't park over there. I can do a video where I'll show y'all where people are just lined up all over the public street parking and just go right back into the park. So it's a conundrum of that's ineffective leadership. And the governor and him beef with each other. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Wow, that's scary. Thank you for sharing that, Monique Green. And these people aren't paying me at all. This is just something I advocate strongly for, and I talk to my clients. I advocate. It's called Talkspace. It's a great app. You can you can do video, you can talk, you can write, you can type up stuff and talk directly to therapists of your choosing. You get to select them. I mean, they have one plan that's like, I think $396 a month. You get 4 live sessions, and then you get to communicate back and forth with your therapist a lot. I don't remember the other plan, but I did help set up a client with Talkspace this week, and it's important, y'all. Like, work on the mental health, work on the emotions. It'll show in various ways. That's all. Clean money gives. The best point to be at the bottom because there's nowhere to go but up. This is a great mindset. And also, I would say, think of it as a gratitude position. I'm so grateful because now I have a place. Now I have a this. Now I have a car. The reason I put in my Classy Climb planner about gratitude is so many people are like, oh, my kids, my spouse, I just want to gripe about it. But you're entitled to gripe within reason. But again, there's probably some man, some woman living alone, eating chili on their couch. They would trade places with you. Again, people are like, ain't nobody marrying these baby mamas. Yes, there are. So clearly someone would trade places with you. The DocuSign alerts for the mobile notary is high. You can also market yourself. Again, if you for Andre Hatchett's class, this is a great time. Many people are going to be using mobile notaries instead of going out of their house because of kids or elderly. They just want to reduce their contact. So when I use my phone in Andre Hatchett's display in the class we did 2 years ago, every day my phone pings with signings for real estate. We've got over 7,000 houses being built off of Leander. So your phone probably will ping a lot. But thank you for supporting the channel. This is correct. Thank you for that. I think a bigger one is coming, unfortunately. No, Banana Boat. There are people who are in the house. And let me be very clear. I actually have 2 respiratory nurses and therapists that I actually speak to on a continual basis, and 2 other ones that came and visited to the boat party. There's a lot of stuff that people don't understand about healthcare that a lot of people are going to show antibodies who never had any symptoms. And you're going to be like, well, that's asymptomatic. No, if you've had any other type of flu, cold, vaccines for the flu, you will show up with this COVID-19 antibodies. I can't get all into it here because I don't want my video flagged as conspiracy. But the sad part is we have a lot of people who are uneducated in what they're saying about the rates that are in Houston, Georgia, Florida. They just are uneducated and they don't understand, and they don't actually talk to respiratory therapists who are telling you that a lot of people are showing antibodies who've been in their home the whole time. They've got food delivered. They've got stuff sent to them. I haven't left my house. They're showing up sick. They're showing up sick. They're showing up with antibodies. They're showing up with COVID, and they haven't left their house. So for someone to think that, well, if everybody just stays in their house, everything will be magical and it'll work. Yeah, just go home. If you go home, like I'm sitting at home with no life and no money, we'll all be okay. No, this is stupid. This is really stupid. I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect you, but I have to tell you, stop it. This isn't a left-right issue. This is a common sense issue. Please, Ben, this is what I keep telling people. People are like, rent's gonna come down more. It's not. California has 120,000 people that are homeless in like just Southern California part. And has Southern California rent dropped to $50 a month or $500? No, it hasn't. Same thing in New York. You have 70% of people not renewing their leases. Over 13,000 empty units in Manhattan. Has Manhattan dropped its rent to $500? No. They'd rather keep those 13,000 units completely empty. Y'all think it's a game? Yes, and I love those outdoor restaurants that do the heavy tents, like the plastic, and then they got the space heater going, the tower heater. Those are very fun. This is very true. Same thing here in Austin. We've had a new batch of homeless come through, and they actually went through, like, we have a whole community and churches just surveying, talking to the homeless, checking their IDs. Where are you from? How can we get you into a housing situation? And 9 times out of 10, they're from New York, PA, Connecticut, other cities, other states, and they've just wound up in Texas because it's hot. You can sit outside, you can sleep outside. It's a little rough, but there are benefits here. So. Look at that. Very interesting. I know one day I'm going to do a chili on the couch where I just keep saying it. Chili on the couch. There you go, Deontay West. Family sitting there in a trust with $3 million, and he's homeless on the street because of choice, mental choice. Man, are you serious? HVAC is one of those trades that you'll always be fixing people's heat. You'll always be fixing people's air. There will always be a need for it, especially here in Texas. As people move more to the south, right? There's resurgence back to the south, and they move into these old houses, trying to fix these old 1980 houses up where they're going to need that. Trades are making where all the money is. Thank you, Ben, for the $4 super sticker. Man, look at that. She paid $2,100 for a coil and a drip pan for my air conditioner. This is true, Matthew. There you go. A HVAC techs get paid $50 an hour to fix AC last month. What city and state are you in, Raygun? There you go. Listen, I heard pricey New York, Upper East Side areas residents are migrating because of the influx of homeless people who are occupying nearby hotels. Yep, I can see this. You know what, Clean Money Gibbs? You could. I mean, there has been famous stories of where wealthy people have made their kids have to go through trainings and class and have degrees. The one Chinese billionaire whose daughter must be married to get the money. Now, don't get it twisted. Old girl gonna marry a man. She gay. But when it comes to billions of dollars, yeah, she gay. But she gonna marry somebody to get that. I don't know what man is gonna marry her, but he gonna marry her. Okay, she gay. She got a whole girlfriend. But because that man put in that will, you just best believe. But that was most of the show today. It was about bankruptcy and is America bankrupt and what's the true definition of bankrupt. A lot of people throw that term around or get smart with people about it, and they don't know what they're talking about. And that's just the point blank of it. Part of the reason I did the video where I showed you how much trucks truly make and how much businesses make is I try to break it down for y'all aren't out here like, I'm gonna get in here and make millions of dollars and be super rich. These are all systems. These are all systems, period. At the end of the day, I make more money off of YouTube than anything. And people don't realize how, and at the end of the year, I'm doing a year income in review with, of course, numbers, but close enough rounded up numbers, because I love the way Project Life Mastery discusses it, which he don't discuss all of it, but that's he does a good job. I'm in a mastermind, and trust me, he ain't discussing all his numbers. But I'm gonna do that for the end of the year because I think it's very important for people to understand how much some of these things are really making online. And also people are selling you on this, that, you know, this internet money dreams, and they out here renting Lambos. They don't tell you that in those videos, okay? And I think it's important just for you guys to get serious. Now, the stock channel, I will put the links in sometime this weekend after we get the rest of the videos up from him and upload it. But I think you'll like it because I literally just take a segment where I used to do, but this channel just has too many topics at this point, and I just take all the stock stuff and it'll be over there. And that way you can hear some of my daily thoughts, some of my swing trades on it, some of the reasons this is happening, why is this stock doing this? And people say, oh, the stock market makes no sense, but it does because it's a microcosm in itself. And so I'm going to address a lot of those over there. That's why you haven't heard me have a lot of Stock Tuesdays or Stock Wednesdays over here, because I'm just putting them all on the other channel. It's just too many topics on this channel, and I'll just have it over there. Well, you will, because I'll have some guests that are scheduled to come on in the fall. But mostly when it comes to my hiatus, you'll just see pre-recorded videos over here. So again, August 21st, sort of, that day is kind of locked in. We're not going to Canada anymore, but we'll probably go over to Alaska, check on our brother, or we'll go the weekend after that because we officially have to finish signing a few deed paperwork this week for Texas Ground Zero. Super exciting. Super glad and glad it closed out like this. So thanks for everybody who's invested with that and who sent last monies for the closing. You're highly appreciated. Is YouTube more profitable than trucking? It depends. It depends on the trucker, right? It depends on if it's a self-owner, if it's a whoever. I'm just saying my YouTube, because of the years I've been doing it, I wake up every day, there's sales from videos from 3 years ago. Like something sold today and I got an alert from my VA and I'm like, who found that video link? You know, because I put links in all these different videos. I'll go back and see where people bought stuff that I haven't put links on forever. It won't be a show like Mad Money. No, it won't be that crazy. But it definitely will be a more concentrated conversation on it, right? I'm doing 2 different challenges. I'm doing Terry's Swing Trade Challenge, which it's not her $1,000 day challenge. It's just a personal challenge, and I'll describe it over there. And then I'll do Todd Millie's Options Challenge. It's just, you know, there's a theory of 1 trade a week, and I'm going to rock it over there, and I'll show you guys more over there. I'll post it here after I finish. We finish uploading the videos for that channel. We'll put it over there. HVAC Tech in Chicago told me they're trying to get retired techs to come back because there's not enough new blood coming in, always busy. Matthew, I 100% believe this, and probably I know it to be true. You're not going to find the work ethic of a 55 to 65-year-old man in a lot of 25 to 28-year-old men. This isn't a knock to men. This is a knock to that generation. They just aren't that hungry for it. Give us another 6 months of this economy being rough, and you're going to have some guys become hungry for it. That's just the truth of it. Well, McCoy, they have a person at the gate that's stopping you. You can only go across if you have a Alaska license or you're visiting immediate family in Alaska. So I'm trying to get my brother to fly into our dad's house so I can go. I'm visiting my brother at my dad's house. And again, my dad passed away many years ago when I was in college. But that's a whole nother story about Canada. Exactly, right? People be quarantined for a while and they still haven't learned something. They'll be ready for trades. Like right now, my mom told me how the truck driving school had a bunch of barbers in it. You know, what took a hit? You know, barbers always think they ain't never gonna get hurt. What took a hit? Barbers. You couldn't even go in barbershops, right? They had to, people were mobily going to cut your hair and getting sick. Thank you, Sienna Herbert. I appreciate that for the 49 super chat. But I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And if you guys are ever so lucky, if you don't follow me on Instagram, later I'll be on Blacker Pockets and I will be interviewing Chris Senegal, a Houston investor. If you don't want to miss that, that'll be in an hour. Yeah, that'll be in an hour. So if you want to hop over there and check it out, I strongly suggest you do. It'll be on Instagram and I'll have links below this video. And I will also send an email out to the groups today. So you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Thank you for visiting this channel. Thank you for supporting the channel, and see you soon.